So, hi everyone, it's Natalie, and I just wanted to give you an update on where I was with my tarot pulse today. So, yesterday was really exciting, first time I'd ever done it. Today, it took me until like 5, well, wasn't quite that late, maybe 4:30, before I was really able to sit down and actually do it. And I found that I was getting really nervous, and I was really aware, like when I was out walking my dog, I don't know that I really dealt with the energy of the Eight of Swords yet, and it was rough. I ended up like really kind of stopping and getting emotional, and realized I'd been very anxious all day today. It's really hard. I've never gone, I think, well, that's not true. I have gone this long before without being, steadily employed, and I've definitely spent time in my life and career, where I've been building something new, trying to move forward, but some days it just feels really overwhelming, and I guess today was just one of those days. So I got past my trepidation about really checking in to see what was going on. And, such a weird thing. I mean, I've dealt with so many far scarier, far worse things, and yet, I don't know, this is just where I am. So I sat down and pulled my cards, and the first one that came up was Temperance. So Temperance is cups. And trying to get this without so much glare. There we go. So I ended up with the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups was my first card that I pulled. Second card, I'm going to try and hold this at the same angle. Oop, upside down. Second card was King of Swords, because Justice came second. Third was Knight of Rods, because Strength came third. And fourth was Eight of Pentacles. So a lot going on there in these four cards. Just going back to the Ace of Cups, I mean, such a beautiful card. Such a beautiful card. This one, I think I probably always seen this one as being something of a blessing, something of aces are always beginnings, but I was looking at this one and thinking like, yeah, that it is. I mean, it is a beginning, and it sort of felt like empathy, and that sense of like something, whether we call it a spirit guide or just the other, whatever the other is, just that's there watching, that's always there, and always kind of engaging. And when I say that, I'm not talking necessarily about our usual concept of God. When I talk about that, when I talk about the other, I'm really sort of referring to what looks back at you as you gaze into the abyss. So, that saying that if you look into the abyss, something, the abyss will look back at you. That's more like what I'm talking about. And I guess having spent a long time engaging, I don't know why I'm still holding that up. Having spent a long time engaging with the abyss and just being willing to look into it very deeply, that's really, I think, what I'm referring to, because something different happens. Something different happens. I don't know really how to explain it. I mean, it's not that I didn't experience some kind of communication before, because I definitely did. I think I would have been more inclined to call it guides or spirit guides. The tone of it feels very different as a result of the abyss gazing. I guess that's where I'm coming from with it. But anyway, this felt like empathy, and it also, sort of saying like, yeah, you're embarking on something brand new. And in the same breath, I would say it also felt a lot like, or feels to me a lot like, a blessing, as the Ace of Cups has always felt that way to me. Um, and the other part of, New Horizons, this particular card gives me a phrase, this going on up here at the top. It is literally a new horizon that's come up, or that I'm embarking upon. And at the same time, too, it's usually in a lot of decks, it's overflowing with water. I remember that, like, I'll never, the Rider-Waite Smith deck always has one that's like overflowing with water. And to me, that's come to mean, the heart of compassion. And it takes me back to the love and kindness practice that I engage, and the way that feels when I'm engaging it. It feels as though it doesn't just fill me back up. It fills me back up with tons and tons and tons of extra flowing out that can be directed or offered to countless others. And I feel like my practice with that could be stronger at the moment. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I used to think of self-compassion practices as being kind of selfish and self-centered. I remember when I first heard about it, and then after working with it for a short time and really starting to experience the benefit of it, it completely changed everything. And I suddenly recognized, wow, the minute that you hold compassion for someone else, compassion for yourself, and you really tap into that, you can't, it can't be selfish because you can't hold on to it, and you certainly can't hold on to it just for yourself. You find that, or I have found anyway, I can really only speak from my own experience, but the experience that I've had is that when I do that, the compassion then becomes something that's overwhelming. It overflows. And so I begin to have compassion for anyone and everyone that I encounter. And that's necessary because it's also speaking to the business that I'm starting. It certainly always spoke to me in terms of teaching, and it doesn't really matter what kind of teaching I do. Whether, I've had some experience of teaching meditation, and art classes, and, self-development through art and so on. And definitely, 16 years of teaching movement, physical theater, directing, dramatic literature and writing. I mean, a lot of teaching, and it has always started for me from this practice and from a desire to engage from this place. And so as I go into working as a doula, and starting a doula business, that too really has to come from this place. It's absolute compassion for, for the dying and their families. So if I don't start here and ensure that my cup is full, I won't have anything to offer. But if I make sure that I am absolutely coming from that place of having a full cup and having a full bounty to offer, that will come forward and become available to my clients. So that was a really pretty deep start to that reading. Card 2 really confused me a little bit because yesterday I had the Eight of Swords, and today it's the King, and it came as the second card. I don't know. The court cards have always confounded me a little bit because to me they're so slippery and flexible. And I have given them rules before, only to really just break them in readings, because I realized that my rule was limiting in what I was actually seeing in the situation with a client, or for myself with something else. In this case, I had to go back and look at a couple of books because I'm not seeing a person that I know that is a king, or that would be represented by a King of Swords. And usually when I look at swords, I feel like I'm when they come up for me, generally I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at my own state of mind. And I definitely don't feel like I'm in sort of a kingly mastery of my own thoughts or mind. I feel more like this one is really a reminder to, that I can be. And that maybe an encouragement that simply by engaging with whatever was coming up earlier, by a willingness to recognize I need to marshal my own mind, this was, coming up as a way of saying, like, yeah, you do. You do need to marshal your own mind because you're completely capable. And you've been in a place before where you've had to, and gotten to an incredible position within that. So remember that you have a sharp mind that's very capable and very powerful, and able to master and command its own destiny, which feels like a lot of responsibility. And it's a little scary, if I'm really honest. But there we are, because I have to. I've just been so blocked today. The last 2 days have been really tough in terms of just trying to work and get anything done. And I should say, too, I have a partner at home who, as much as we love each other and adore each other, he is in the middle of working on his master's thesis, and that is his full-time job along with his part-time work teaching. He's a wonderful teacher. He teaches pottery and ceramics. He was my pottery and ceramics teacher, and he's unbelievable, beautiful teacher. So gentle, so compassionate. But he's there right now teaching a class to newbies on a Friday night because he's that kind of teacher. But he's also outrageously anxious right now. And he's also experiencing a lot of blocks and blockages in his own work. And as an empath, I find it just, it's a lot. It's just a lot. When he's nervous and he can't figure things out, it doesn't matter what I do to try and block it out. I find that I'm also kind of sucked into that. And the last couple of days especially, that's been tough. So we've been both trying to work on that and marshal ourselves and be supportive to each other up to a point, but really give each other space to be able to deal with our own individual stuff. It's a lot. Anyway, so then the third card that came up was Strength, and the next Rods card that was available was the Knight of Rods. And again, a court card. Yay! Natalie needs to master her court cards better. Again, I had to really, really look this one up. Again, it just, if it were in context of reading for someone else, I think that would feel a lot easier. In this case, it just felt really, like I don't really know where it was coming from. And I found, I had gotten this one, Melissa Cynova, which you can't, there we go, there's her name. Melissa Cynova is a local, tarot practitioner and reader, really well known in the area. And I decided to get her book recently, and it's really pretty good. She's got some incredibly good insights that are very straightforward and simple. And something she said in here, and I thought, well, that's exactly shockingly right to my situation. It said, this card in a reading speaks to confidence and growth. It's about moving forward even if you're unsure of the outcome. And that just feels right. I'm really not sure of the outcome. I'm nervous about going back into like a classroom in a public school. I don't know what that's going to feel like. There's something else she said in here that I'll just throw out because I thought that was pretty good. What else? She said the Knight of Wands loves himself, and the only part of him that is exposed is his face. And she's using a Morgan Greer deck to illustrate this. It's a small bit of vulnerability in an otherwise resilient person. She says he's confident, charming, confident, and daring, a fierce friend, and passionate, even when that passion can get him in trouble. He's strong and smart and makes things happen. He's unpredictable, enthusiastic, and very much like a bear on the loose. He wants, he takes. So, yeah. I mean, and that's really the energy that I need looking at moving forward. So I feel like that was kind of like a little gift, you know, a reminder like, hey, it's okay, you know? And I feel like I've spent a lot of my time being the Knight of Wands as I read her description of it. Because I've spent a lot of time just going, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sure it'll turn out fine. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, including this. So that was a really exciting thing to discover. I'm just aware of time. This is taking ages because I'm so in need to talk to somebody and just put out there like what's happening and how it feels. Anyway, final one, get to work. 8 of Pentacles. Ooh, here we go. 8 of Pentacles, get ye to work. Work thee hard. That's kind of where that one comes from. Yeah, like hard work pays off. Yeah, just do it. You've got everything you need. Just do it. Do the work. Do the hard work. There's a lot of hard work that is that goes along with shifting into this doula work. It is a lot. It's a lot more than I really expected. And it's great. It's great work. But it is just not, well, it's not that I'm not capable. We know that's I'll be fine. It's the trouble is that I was so comfortable in my previous work, and I felt so capable, and it felt almost effortless to do my job in so many ways, even though it was very effortful. And I guess just not having that same level of confidence is, you know, through experience and through years of trial and error and hard work, that just feels scary. I think that's really what it is. I did just get my business cards in, and I might have to send them back, I think, or get them reprinted. Thankfully, they were Vistaprint, so they were really inexpensive. Let's see if we can get this to show up. Here we go. That's me. So that's going to be how my entire business, my website is through Vistaprint as well, and I'm working on it and building it. So we got compassionate support for end-of-life matters. I was really lucky. I managed to get the URL Companioning the Dying. And I love that description. It just feels good. It feels right. Because that process, just the privilege of being able to be with and companion someone who is going through the process of leaving their body just feels amazing. And it feels like such an honor. So that was a really exciting URL to find. You know, I didn't expect it to be available. I actually went through probably 20 other iterations and then finally thought, what do I really want to say? And Companioning the Dying just popped right into my head, and I went and found it, and it was available, so I snapped it up. I will have to change, I like my little tagline, compassionate support for end-of-life matters. Very Ace of Cups. So my website, when it's finished, will be www.companioningthedying.com. And I just found that companioningthedying@gmail.com is not available. It was the other day. It's not now. And I really regret that I did not nail it down. So I'll have to get these reprinted or get a little sticker to put on the back anyway. I'm just hoping that this is still readable, or readable enough for people when they look at it that they're not like, what? I don't know. My partner, Tom, was like, it doesn't matter. It's a business card. Business card is a placeholder so people have somewhere to land. If they see that little, mandala, and they know you're an end-of-life doula and that's the page that they land on, they know they've gotten to the right place. So, ta-da. And it does have my name on it, and it does have my number and my contact details. So should be fine. It's just getting it going. And I'll be able to be Natalie at companioningthedying.com anyway, because the website will have an email address that comes with it. So there we are. Tarot Pulse Day 2. Wow. I'm just amazed at like how completely supported I felt by this reading. So Lisa at Mindful Tarot, kudos to you. Look at what you did. I'm just in awe of what you did. It's amazing, and it's so helpful, and so it is balancing. It does balance your energies. If you're watching this and you haven't tried it, again, I'll put the links to this in the space below so that you can find her original video where she explains how she, how the whole reading works. But try it. It's really helpful. It's really, really helpful. So, my sincerest bows to you, Lisa, for coming up with that one, because it's a really good one. It's a corker. Okay, blessings to everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye.